Stop Sports Shop, and on mixlr.com/wake up call DT from inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. We're so happy to be here with you as always, where sports meets that thing called life. From inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, this is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you are absolutely amazing. So, welcome here to the broadcast today. Cafe Kubal, want to let you know, especially on a chilly day like today, you can warm yourself up with your Cafe Kubal, your favorite coffees from Cafe Kubal, their chais, their teas in general, as well as by getting one of their nice breakfast sandwiches, their lunch special that I love, the Upstate that's there all the time. So make sure you grab the Upstate, and of course their chocolate chip banana bread and so much more. Those cookies, everything that they have to offer at Cafe Kubal, worth going out there and supporting local. So make sure that you do that today. And I appreciate Cafe Kubal for all that they've done here in our community to support us on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, as well as on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners, in their drive-through location at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital. So however you connect with Cafe Kubal, make sure you fill your cup up right, and you fill your cup up this morning with some good old Cafe Kubal. So with that being said, we have a fantastic show here for you today with three awesome guests. Of course, every Thursday we start off the broadcast with PJ. So Papa Joe will be joining us momentarily here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We'll be joined here by Papa Joe. So Papa Joe joining us here where sports meets life to speak on the coaching vacancy with the Jacksonville Jaguars, the NFL coaching openings around the country, as well as his take on the current NFL playoffs. So plenty coming up with Papa Joe inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. And then from there, we will jump into my conversations with those that I was with last night with the doubleheaders. Very excited that Carleton and Enrico Mastroianni, a doubleheader last night at Marywood University, and a doubleheader today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as they join me from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios for an awesome conversation with each of them that I cannot wait to have here where sports meets that thing called life. So a lot of great stuff coming up with them as we speak, with Jen coming off of her victory and Enrico Mastroianni coming off of their closely contested loss last night in extra time, in overtime. So a lot of great stuff here on today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, I'll round out today's show by having some thoughts to Marywood University and a lot of thanks for everything that they've done. So with that being said, it is time for me to get the man of the hour on the broadcast. That is PJ. Papa Joe here. He's saying it's cold down in Florida when it's in the teens or the single digits up here in Syracuse, Central New York, and Northeast PA. Papa Joe, how are we doing?
Good, Daniel. Good. It is a little chilly down here. We're going to get down to the low 30s here in the next couple of nights. I mean, that's cold for us. And actually, I had a fire the other night, so I'll have a fire again pretty soon. But we have 2 or 3 of those kind of days. But in the afternoon, it gets up to 60, 65 again. The corridor there, the tornado corridor, we call it. Sometimes they dip down into North Florida, and we get a little cool weather, but we deal with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, we're all dealing with a cold front of sorts kind of going on right now. But the great thing about it is that we'll always turn that corner. Things will get better, and that sun has been shining. That's what I tell people all the time. I said, listen, you complain about the cold weather and how freezing it is outside in the Northeast, but you look up and almost every single day has been clear blue skies. If there's a cloud in the sky, maybe there's one or two, but it has been clear blue sailing here. And so I have no complaints whatsoever, PJ, and just excited to be here this morning, excited to talk to you with plenty of stuff going on in this wonderful world of sports. So with that being said, let's hop right into it and take a look at what's going on in Jacksonville. You're down there in Northeast Florida. Tell me what you're hearing, what you're seeing here. The word is Byron Leftwich. What's going on down there?
Well, that's what a lot of people are writing about. A lot of pundits are writing the same thing. You lost your man Nate Hackett to the Broncos, though. He was supposed to get his second interview down here at the beginning of this week, and, of course, was hired away. So I think maybe that Shad was keying in on him. But anyway, he lost him. So now Leftwich is supposed to be the leader now. Apparently, there was some negotiations already, and they couldn't reach an agreement. But that could be just pundits BSing. Don't know about the Leftwich deal. I have my reservations about him. He's never been in charge of anything like this before. And you get these new bright offensive coordinators in, like we've seen in the last weekend. Those offensive coordinators, which are head coaches, are brilliant. This kid's smart, no doubt about it. I just don't know if he can be a leader of men. So we'll see. I wish him luck. If Rashad wants to interview him a second time, which he is, I also heard that the Indianapolis Colts gentleman is going to be interviewed a second time. I forgot his name. I think it's a defensive coordinator from the Colts. Yeah. Hey, if I was shot, I'd get a hold of Sean Payton in a heartbeat and say, "I'll give you my franchise. Come down here and coach."
Yeah, and we look at the coaching openings around the country. We'll talk about that in just a little bit here. But to look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and where they sit at with things, I mean, at this point, and Nate Hackett was a guy that I said he was coming up on a bunch of boards, and we were in a situation where I think that he was ripe to get a head coaching position, and he has been able to do so. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes, but not before we take a look at what's going on with Jacksonville. Once again, for those of you paying attention here, former Philadelphia Eagles head coach who won a Super Bowl with the team, Doug Peterson, former Detroit Lions head coach and Indianapolis Colts head coach after Tony Dungy retired, Jim Caldwell, Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive coordinator Todd Bowles, Tampa Bay offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator Nate Hackett, as I mentioned, former Houston Texans head coach and Alabama's offensive coordinator here, Bill O'Brien, in recent history, Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, Indianapolis Colts defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. That's the list that I'm looking at right now, PJ. We've discussed a bunch of this, and I asked the fans to weigh in on what they would like, what they wouldn't like. What is, I know you said you had some reservations about Byron Leftwich here. The other guy, allegedly, it's been Byron Leftwich and potentially Bill O'Brien. What are your thoughts on Leftwich? He's a former quarterback for the Jaguars, and he has been Tampa's offensive coordinator. They won a Super Bowl in recent history here, so we know that went down, obviously. What's your take, though? I mean, what is your sense of kind of where things are? I mean, I know that he hasn't been a head coach, but make some sense of this for us. So what is your take of Byron Leftwich?
Well, I say he's a bright kid, young man, I should say. Working with Bruce Arians, who is a brilliant offensive mind himself, he's already gone on record saying that if he loses Leftwich, he's going to call the praise himself. And something tells me that he's sort of calling a place behind the scenes for Leftwich in some occasions. Just looking at him on the sidelines, he doesn't talk too much into his microphone, so maybe he is leaving Leftwich to follow him. But then you got a head coach on the field with Tom Brady. I mean, how can you go wrong with Bruce Arians and Tom Brady helping you call plays? I mean, I'm just a little leery that he doesn't have the experience to lead men. You got to put a franchise together. You got to hire a million coaches. You got to go through the draft. You got to get along with the general manager. You got to get along with the owner. You got to produce. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. And Nate Hackett, as good as he is going to find the same problems at Denver. It's going to be hard to win. The reason I said he better check with Sean Payton is that I'm not sure Payton is burned out. I think he just wants a little bit of a rest. Sean Payton will probably wind up on TV like the rest of these guys when they leave coaching. But I would like to see him get back into the saddle real quick. And again, if I was shot, I would get a hold of Sean Payton's agent and say, "Let me talk to this guy." So Leftwich, there's going to be some second interviews for a lot of people. I'm sure Patterson and Caldwell and guys we've already talked about are going to get the second interviews. And Leftwich I guess, is going to be the key here. So, I mean, he's got a young football team in front of him. If he comes over, he's got a hell of a quarterback to teach. He was a fair quarterback when he was playing. Didn't do much for the Jaguars, but he wound up working his way up into systems. You should be proud of that, and wound up with a Super Bowl coach. I mean, you can't get any better than that. So he's got the upbringing. Let's hope he's got the nuts.
Yeah, speaking here with Papa Joe this morning about the Jaguars head coaching vacancy, and we will be taking a look around the NFL shortly here at this. I just, for me with Byron Leftwich, it feels like it's too early. Like, to me, it feels like it's too soon to do this. It doesn't, I don't know. I feel like I want to see him get some more experience as a coordinator. I want to see him go out there and do a little bit more. I mean, to me, it just feels too soon. And I don't know if other people feel that way. You could chime in, but to me, that just feels like it's like an early strike at doing it, and putting him out there. And I just don't feel like it doesn't sit well with me. I feel like you're saying, okay, well, let's jump on this and let's hire. I mean, if you do, it's like, let's hire him. The fans love him. He used to be our quarterback. And that doesn't matter because, like I said, a couple years from now, if he's not winning, nobody cares that he was your quarterback. The fan base will turn on him. It's not going to matter. They're going to say, yeah, he was our quarterback and he sucks as our coach. That's what's going to happen. I mean, this is a team that wants to win. They want to win now. We know that defensively they have good pieces. We know that offensively they have good pieces. We know they have the number one pick at quarterback from last year. And we know that they potentially are going to have the number one pick this year if they keep it. So, to me, there is no better time than today to find the right person to lead them. I think it's too soon. I think it's too much of an early kind of dive into it. I think it's lazy, honestly. I think it's a lazy pick. I think it's a lazy hire. Yeah, it could be like a fan booster and, oh, yay, look, we're bringing back our guy. But what does that really do? I mean, is he a proven winner as a head coach? No. And the thing is, here we go again taking a look at this. He's the offensive coordinator with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, and Tom Brady. To me, it's one of those things like when they say, how good is an Alabama quarterback when they have all those weapons? Well, how good is an offensive coordinator when he has all those weapons? So I think, if you buy into the hype of it right now, you're saying, okay, well, Byron Leftwich did really, really good with the greatest quarterback of all time and a ton of toys to play with. I just think it's too soon to make him a head coach. I think it's too lazy of a pick because it's too easy of a pick to do, to just say, well, he played here, let's do it. And I don't know how proven he can be. And PJ, honestly, I mean, as an offensive coordinator of arguably the best offensive weapon group next to the Rams in the country, I mean, can you really gauge Byron Leftwich as an offensive coordinator when he's coordinating Tom Brady for just a little bit of time? It's not like he's done it for a decade.
For sure. I mean, he's certainly going to have the background. I'm still leaning toward Patterson. I've gone on record for the last several weeks about he would be my number one choice, and probably followed by Jim Caldwell. I think we need stability. We need strength. We need stability. We need experience. We need someone who can right the ship and take care of frankly a floundering quarterback. Even though he was the number one pick, he wasn't coached up. And Caldwell can do that, and so can Patterson. So I don't know. I'm leaning toward those two guys, and I don't know anything about the rest. I do know something about the rest of the guys, but I'm just not interested in that. I'm just sort of leaning toward what I would do if I was in that position. If I was at the owner, we've talked about this before. I mean, we know that Schott has got to hit this on the head. He can't screw it up this time, and he's going to be real careful. But at the same time, you don't want to get caught in this thing where all of a sudden this guy's gone, this guy got hired, all of a sudden you're left down with 2 or 3 choices, and none of them are the ones that you want. And then you're forced to hire someone. So, this is very tricky on Sean's part. So he's got to really pay attention to what's happening out there. He's got to have his ear to the ground. He's got to talk to all his NFL people, all his people that he deals with on a daily basis. Who can I get that's going to best utilize the players that I have? And in my opinion, it's either Pedersen or Caldwell.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, Peterson and Caldwell, they have experience. Peterson, I'm kind of up in the air about because of the way that things ended in Philadelphia. And at the same time, I look at the other situation and I ask myself, with Jim Caldwell, do I really want a mediocre coach? I mean, I don't want to say a mediocre coach. Do I want a 500 coach? A guy that's just kind of riding the equator line. I don't, it just, to me, that's not, I mean, I'm more Peterson than I am Caldwell, but like Byron Leftwich, if he coached like the Bucks for like 5 years as the OC and he did it post Brady and he's out there with Kyle Trask and they're making it happen, and they continue to be successful and he's developing guys, then yeah, I could say that. Or a Kellen Moore as he continues to develop in Dallas, then I could be saying something there too. But I don't know. I mean, like, Nate Hackett was the guy for me. He was good at developing guys. He did a lot of work with Blake Bortles. People have no idea. Blake is a lot better than you think he is. And statistically, he was going to be right there with Mark Brunell. And Mark Brunell did it with everything, and Blake did it with almost nothing. So, I look at what Nate's done with that. I look at what he did with Syracuse. I look at, what he did with Buffalo when he was there. Nate Hackett was with Doug Marrone as his right-hand guy for like a decade. There was so much good. And I said that. When I saw him show up on the Jacksonville list, I said, wow, they should pounce on this. I would love it. And selfishly, I'm really fond of the guy. And I think, it's time for him to become a head coach. And then he started showing up on all these other lists. And then look at it. Of all the teams that have head coaching vacancies, including the Raiders and the Jaguars that had theirs during the season, the first coach to be hired, the first coach and only coach to be hired in all of the vacancies, Nate Hackett. The only one to be hired first, Nate Hackett. Nobody else has made a decision. Not the Texans, not the Giants, not the Dolphins, not the Jaguars, not the Vikings, not the Bears, not the Raiders. The only team that's made, not the Saints, the only team that's made a decision, the Broncos. Who'd they choose? Nate Hackett. I'm telling you right now, I'm so sick and tired of Jacksonville missing the boat. And I'm telling you, I know Broncos got a lot of work to do. I know they got a lot going on. But this is an offensive guy. This is a guy who's got a little kid in the candy store. He's got Jerry Jeudy. He's got Cortland Sutton. He's got Noah Fant. He's got my guy Javonte Williams. And obviously, Cortland Sutton's my guy as well. He's got a Teddy Bridgewater, and maybe he's going to go out there and get somebody else. It says something to me that the guy I wanted to be the front runner in Jacksonville is the only coach of all these vacancies to be hired. And everybody else is open. Of all the names you're hearing about all across the country, the only one that has a job, Nate Hackett. And that should tell you something.
That's true. I'm sure he's going to be a good head coach. Got a good offensive mind. Teddy Bridgewater can actually can use some structure too. He's kind of a brittle guy, but I've always thought that he was a real good quarterback, and I think that Nate's going to do fine over there. So we'll have to see what shakes down here, Daniel. Things are probably going to move along this week pretty quick because you've got the teams that have lost. Have got some people that are already in the interview process. And, of course, the teams that have won, I don't know if they have anyone available. So it's going to be fun to see. It's going to be it's great. I want to see the action. I love to see the action.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm going to throw a name out there for some people. What if Doug Marrone got interviewed to take the head coaching job with the Saints after he was Sean Payton's offensive coordinator for numerous years? And they were the top offense in the country like 2 out of 3 years. Top 3 offense in the country. What if Doug Marrone went to the Saints? I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. So, but I mean, and that's shocking to me too, that Sean Payton would step down. There was some like late moves that happened here, and one of them being that the Texans said, "Hey, it's time for you to go." The Texans are a mess. They made one of the listen. They say there's no sure things in life. I think there's a few things that are sure things, and one of them was when DeAndre Hopkins was traded for David Johnson. That was surely a good thing for the Cardinals and surely a stupid thing for the Texans. One of the dumbest drafts in the history of all mankind. One of the craziest things to happen. So David Culley's out with the Texans. So of the jobs that are vacant here, PJ, David Culley out with the Texans, Giants out with Joe Judge, Brian Flores out with the Dolphins, who went 8-1 in their last 9 games, Vikings out, Mike Zimmer, Matt Nagy out with the Bears, and we know Vic Fangio's out with the Broncos, but they hired somebody. Raiders, John Gruden stepped down. Jaguars, Urban Meyer was let go. Saints, Sean Payton stepped down. So of the jobs that are available, the Saints, the Jaguars, as well as the Raiders, the Vikings, the Bears, the Texans, the Dolphins, and the Giants, which one do you think is most attractive? Which one do you think is least attractive?
I think that our team is going to be ahead of that list because of the quarterback situation. Any coach would love to coach this kid. And they realized that he wasn't coached his first year. He was left to flounder, and that's why I use the term floundering. It's not a very polite term, but that's what Myers did. I mean, he let the kid flounder. He wasn't coaching him up. Nothing. Look at, Payton's another guy that I think maybe he outlived his usefulness in Los Angeles, New Orleans. When he looked at his quarterback situation with Jameis Winston, my man Jameis, and the other guys, I don't think he wanted to come back and try to coach these guys. I'm not sure Winston's going to come back as the same player he was, and he was a marginal player then. But he views Jameis the way he was supposed to be used. Don't throw the ball on the field, take care of the ball, get the little 6 and 8 yard out, and so on. Other than that, I can't see any other team that has a quarterback that guys would want to coach. You go down the list, and there really isn't any. You can get the Dolphins and Tua. From what I read this morning of Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator for Buffalo, apparently is up for that job. Tua wants him, so what Tua wants, maybe he'll get. But I think that Brian Daboll now is going to be a new name added to the list of things. Positions. I think that Rich Bisaccia at Oakland, I think he's going to be hired, and he should be. He did a hell of a job with that team after Chucky blew his brains out. Absolutely pitiful. And imagine trying to find a coach in midstream to take over for Chucky after what he did. Bisaccia was there the whole time. Never been a head coach. Coordinator's been over 30 years in the business, and here he is a head coach, and he was successful. So if I was the Davis boys over there, I would snap him up and say, I'll give you a 3-year contract. Keep going doing what you're doing. There isn't a lot of good stuff to be talked about with the head coaches coming up. I don't want to use the term recycled, but we are seeing some guys recycling, like O'Brien, Pedersen, and Caldwell. But that's how these guys can get jobs. I still think that Pedersen is due to be for Jacksonville.
Yeah, and we're looking at this right now. The general manager, Trent Baalke, just social media going crazy over their dissatisfaction with him. What's your take on that, PJ? I mean, the fans, and I obviously not speaking for everybody, and social media is a cesspool sometimes, but what is your take on general manager Trent Baalke, as it seems like the fan base is not, I don't know, what's your pulse on that? Is the fan base, in your opinion, happy with him, upset with him? What I'm reading is not positive. What are you taking here?
Trent Baalke's a good man. I don't think that he was in on the Meyer hire. I think Meyer sort of sold himself to Khan. Maybe went on his boat for a couple of days and said, "This is what I can do for your team." And Baalke had to go along with it. Baalke's got experience from San Francisco, and he was, I think, the head man over there for 10, 12 years, something like that. So he is experienced. Perhaps, I would hope, perhaps he's having input with Shad on this one. He should be retained.
Yeah, I mean, it is. This is a tough go at it this morning. Taking a look at what could be. I'm ecstatic for Nate Hackett. I know somebody asked a question here about what do I think about the Nate Hackett hire. I think it's a great hire. Nate is somebody who has worked his behind off, and he's been done dirty before, and he just continues to roll with the punches. He's been a strong coach. He brought winning back to Syracuse with Doug Marrone. He did. And, without them and some other guys that were there, I mean, we don't see any type of positive coming out of Syracuse. So I give him a lot of credit for the work that he did. I've been a fan of Nate Hackett's for a long, long time, so I'm happy about the hire. And the Bill O'Brien thing, Greg chimed in here, said, Bill O'Brien will end up trading Josh Allen away from the Jaguars for a bag of footballs. I hope that's not the direction you go. I wrote back to him, he would give away James Robinson for the $1 bin of DVDs at Walmart. So, I mean, it's Bill O'Brien. Listen, I'm happy I got to interview him. I'm excited to talk to him when he was on Alabama here for the potential championship run when they played in the title game. I don't want Bill O'Brien. Listen, I don't want mediocrity. I don't want bad decision making. Why would Jacksonville fans get excited for a guy who was there when the team traded away their best players and screwed the pooch on so many different things? The Houston Texans are in the toilet right now. Why would you want the coach that was a part of flushing the team down the drain? I mean, it's just bring somebody in who has the expertise, the talent, the charisma, the recruiting. Somebody where you can go, Dan, this is why. This is why. And it's a good reason. I can tell you that I think that, I don't know, Martha Stewart would be a fantastic basketball player. Why? What's my reasoning? Because she cooks well? I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. You have to have purposeful actions backed with factual data, something that tells me why. Listen, if Byron Leftwich ends up becoming the head coach, am I going to be pissed? No, I'm not going to be pissed. Because at this point, I think of everything that I'm looking at, of who they've interviewed, this and Doug Peterson are probably your best shots at this point from the list that I'm looking at. I'm not against Byron Leftwich coming home. I'm not against it. I want to be clear about that. I just think it's too soon. I think these fans deserve to have somebody who has proven something up to this point, or someone, if maybe they haven't been a head coach before, like Byron, somebody who's given me I find it so hard to just, I don't know, mortgage a franchise on a guy who's had Tom Brady and a lot of awesome players. I mean, can he come into Jacksonville and make all these no-name wide receivers better? Can he come into Jacksonville and figure out how to utilize James Robinson and Travis Etienne at the same time? Can he come into Jacksonville and get this defense to be consistently good and not occasionally great? Can he come into Jacksonville and find a dang kicker? Can he come into Jacksonville and make Trevor Lawrence better than he's ever been? I don't know, but I think at this point there's too many questions and not enough answers. I think it would be great to go, yeah, he's back. But listen, I've been covering the Jaguars on-site, on location for now going into my 12th year. Please don't disrespect me that I don't know something about this team. They don't need a 2-year fix. They don't need another Band-Aid. Urban Meyer was a Band-Aid. Doug Marrone was a Band-Aid. It's temporary fixes. It's like putting duct tape on a hole in the wall. It doesn't keep the draft from coming in. It doesn't keep water from coming through. It just kind of sort of prevents it from being as bad as it could be. I don't want a Band-Aid. I don't want duct tape on my windows. I want a proven coach, or if the person is not a head coach, somebody who can show me the why. Byron Leftwich does not show me the why right now. Could he be great? Yes, he could be. So many of these young guys could be great. But at this point in time, right now, what has he done besides be your former franchise quarterback to make you feel like he's going to be capable of running the team? And 2 years from now, if you hate his guts, what are you going to do then? You know, PJ, I'm not trying to belabor a point here. I'm finding it really hard to say the like this is a definitive reason why Byron Leftwich needs to be the head coach.
I don't know. I don't have a definitive. I just don't think that he's ready to be that. As I stated earlier, you have to be a leader of men. You have to know a hell of a lot more about a football team than just being an offensive coordinator. Of course, he's watched Arians now for 3 years at Tampa. You can liken this to the same situation at Kansas City where Eric Bieniemy. Now, you haven't heard his name pop up this year.
No.
Last year he was hot. This year, I don't hear him at all. And if you look at Andy Reid, he's calling those plays over there. I know that. Just by looking at him. He's talking into his little computer there. So, he's another guy that I would lump in with Leftwich. They're excellent offensive coordinators, but they just have to be a little bit more seasoned with, running a football team. You're dealing with 53 men. They all have different personalities, they all have different cultures, different backgrounds, and different experience. You got to find the right one. You can't just go take this job, be your own offensive coordinator, forget the rest of the team. You got to have a strong special teams coach. You got to have a strong defensive coordinator. This isn't easy. This isn't easy trying to find someone for the Jaguars. But with that being said, there's a lot of head coaches that are without a job right now that would love to get their hands on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's true. And who wouldn't want to do it, especially because his first year really didn't even feel like a first year because everything going on with Urban Meyer and Urban kind of taking that away. And we go back to what you had said here and, looking at the fact that Nate Hackett, that there was a potential schedule for the Jaguars to get him in there. So, again, is this Shad Khan missing another one? And if we go back and we look at Byron Leftwich and we look at his history, he was a coaching intern with the Cardinals when they were 7-8-1. The quarterbacks coach when they went 8-8 in 2017-18 and 1-6 when he was there in 2018-19. Then he was the interim offensive coordinator also in 2018-19, 2-7 of a record there. Offensive coordinator with the Tampa Bay Bucks when they were 7-9. Then offensive coordinator when they were 11-5 in the regular season and 13-4 this year. So with Tom Brady, he's been fantastic. Without Tom Brady, And could we not say that about most at this point in Tom Brady's career? Are you really going to be in a bad way if you have Tom Brady? So, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. I'm done talking about it. It's pissed me off enough. When we come back, we're going to get into the NFL playoffs. The teams that aren't these teams. The teams that are not in the dumpster fire trying to find a leader to get them out of it. But, and in the case of the Saints, surprising. But, it makes, Sean Payton's been there for a long time. Drew Brees isn't there anymore. It's been a cluster of quarterback woes in New Orleans. So, I get it. But I agree with you, PJ. Hey, Sean Payton, this is Shad Khan. I would like to actually hire someone who wins games. Oh, hello, Shad Khan. I win games. Fantastic. Would you like to meet with me? I surely would. How about that? How about we make that happen right now? I said it before and I'll say it again. And I did this when I was a junior in my intro to business class at Christian Brothers Academy in Syracuse, New York. I said, this is what I would do if I was the general manager of the Jaguars. And if I go back to my junior year in high school, it's probably a better plan than what I've seen since then. So, we're going to take a step aside. We're going to come back with the NFL playoffs. There's 4 teams remaining. These teams are actually good right now, and they're fighting for the right to go to the title game in the NFL. All of that comes up after this fast break where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We'll be back right after this inside the Cafe Kubal studios.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here inside the Cafe Kubal studios. This is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you, as always, are truly amazing. Good morning. I hope you're staying warm. I hope you're staying well. Hope everything is going well for you in wherever you are. If you're at work, watching and listening, or if you're taking care of the kids, running around, you're at school, high school, college, whoever it is. We talk to so many different generations. I love that. I always say we get to talk to the kids, the parents, the grandparents, sometimes the great-grandparents. So we appreciate you all for listening and watching all across the country and the world inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. This is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Papa Joe is hanging out with me where sports meets that thing called life. And PJ, we have the opportunity to take a look at what happened in the divisional round. I've spoken about it throughout the week here, and the fact that every single one of the games that we got to see in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, every single one of those 4 games ended, it came to the bitter end. Game-winning field goal, game-winning field goal, game-winning field goal to force overtime, game-winning touchdown. The special teams phase of the game, of everything that's out there, offense, defense, and special teams, the thing talked about the least is special teams. Yet special teams was imperative in 100% of the games. Evan McPherson from the Gators, his field goal to send the Bengals moving forward over the Titans. Harrison Butker, 49 yards to force overtime with 13 seconds remaining. Chiefs charging down the field, and Harrison Butker sending them to OT where they eventually would defeat the Buffalo Bills in a shootout. Green Bay in that game where Green Bay had an opportunity to move forward, and the Niners said no because of Robbie Gould and what he did. And then Matt Gay staving off the surging Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who scored 24 unanswered points before that field goal at the end of the game. What can you say about the fact that we had a fantastic weekend of football where every single one of the 4 games came down to the final seconds and all of those games relied on special teams?
Well, I've been looking at these games for a long time. I go back to the days with Bart Starr and the old Frozen Bowl, where the Boomer used to say the frozen tundra. Well, I go back a long way with football. I've never seen 4 games like this in any year that I've been watching them. I can't remember anything like this before. Every game was competitive. Mistakes being made, but offense are taking advantage of them. You know, the Packers special teams was sorry. The Bucks having a big lead, or the Rams having a big lead. That's going back and forth. Scary. It was fun. I mean, every game I was on my couch, and I was rooting and screaming. And Mary was trying to figure out what was going on. I said, "These are great games, Mary." And she watched the Buffalo Kansas City game with me on the couch, so she was screaming too. Every game was competitive. It was fun to watch. Obviously, my Packers are sorry, and the Bucks are sorry. So, you know, you got a couple. You still have 4 good teams that are ready to play. You got Kansas City versus Cincinnati. You got the Rams versus San Francisco, which we've seen for the umpteenth time this year. I don't know why they want to do that, but they deserve it to play each other again. KC versus Cincinnati, going to be a good game up front. Joe Burrow gave Kansas City some bulletin board material, Joe, and you can't do that. He's saying that he's played in college atmospheres that are much louder than pro atmospheres, being in LSU and so on like that, in Florida and Alabama, where you can't even think it's so loud. And of course, the Kansas City fans jumped all over that and say, "Well, Joe, you got a present coming, buddy." So Joe may have screwed up a little bit on that one. So we'll see what he can do. Going to be fun. Every game was good. The best players came forward. Joe Burrow is he's not a second-year player. I think he's a 10th-year player. I mean, this kid is cool. He knows he's going to get crashed. He knows what he has to do. He's hanging in there. He has to run a little bit. He does, but he pulls the trigger, and he's got his bangles, as the Boomer calls them, the Bengals. Used to be the Bengals. Not anymore. They're the Bengals now, Boomer. So it's going to be fun to watch, Daniel.
Yeah, you know, and there are going to be some great games out there and great opportunities here, and we've talked about it before. You never want to leave locker room material out there, and so, you know, looking at this, it is so exciting to see, you know, what can be from these last 4 teams that are remaining. And I brought this up, you know, earlier in the week, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it, PJ. Just a few seasons ago, we were looking at an NFL title game that featured the Niners and the Chiefs. And in that Niners and Chiefs title game, Jimmy Garoppolo was beloved and Pat Mahomes was beloved. And, you know, that was just a couple years ago, February 2nd, 2020. Here we had Jimmy G and Pat Mahomes, and people are saying, "Wow, Jimmy G's doing a great job. He's the most successful quarterback that's ever been behind Tom Brady with the Patriots." And Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. Oh my gosh, he could be one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. 2 years later, everybody loving on Pat Mahomes, and Jimmy Garoppolo was supposed to be the guy that they traded away. They got Trey Lance. They went from pick 12 to pick 3. He's useless. He's worthless. Get rid of him. Aha, he gets injured, blah, blah. I mean, PJ, we talk about what have you done for me lately. But this is a sick and twisted way to look at this. When you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, 2 years ago, he leads them to the Super Bowl. 2 years later, people are thinking that he's a has-been in San Francisco, and he's 1 game from leading them there again. What are your thoughts on the Jimmy G factor 2 years ago and the Jimmy G factor now, and how quickly the world has kind of turned on him?
Jimmy, he's nothing wrong with Jimmy G. He's a first-class quarterback, good arm, thinks he's a very cerebral quarterback, uses all the field, uses his backs, uses his wideouts, tight end. He does it all. And, you know, you don't sit behind Tom Brady all those years and not learn anything. I know he was rankled a little bit when he couldn't move Tom Brady out because Tom Brady wasn't ready to retire. And he made a decision. He says, "Listen, I love Tom Brady. I love being in New England. I've won Super Bowls, but I've got to be my own man. I got to go somewhere else." And he has. And he's not, he's a little sporadic at times, but he's got a good arm. He knows what he's doing. That's the good thing I like about Jimmy Garoppolo. He knows what he's doing. Joe Burrow will learn how to do that. The Rams have Matthew Stafford, who may be the second coming of Tom Brady after what we saw this weekend. Wonderful, wonderful guy. Great guy, good quarterback. Boy, he's got some weapons now, let me tell you. That game, I don't remember what the scores were the first two games this season, but this game is going to be just as good, if not better. And it's going to showcase two really competitive quarterbacks with good teams.
Well, and how about looking at the fact, and I brought this up on yesterday's show, the San Francisco 49ers have defeated the Rams head-to-head in all of the last 6 times that they faced each other. The Niners are 6-0 against the Rams in their last 6 games. The last time the Rams beat the Niners was back in 2018. So, and with Matt Stafford at the helm of the Rams, obviously among that, the Rams are 0-2 against the Niners. So, PJ, they lost to the Niners twice this season. Now they got the Niners again for the rights to go to the title game. And I said this before, and I'll say it again, and I think it needs to be said numerous times. I was at your home with you and Mary T when the Rams let the Niners into the playoffs when they lost their last game of the regular season in Week 18. If the Rams lose to the Niners for a third time this season, they're going to lose to the team that they let into the playoffs. They will essentially have opened the door to the team that kicked them out of the door. In a giant play of irony, they will be kicked off of the mountain by the team that they pulled up the mountain by accident.
That's all interesting material, and of course it's true. But I don't see the Rams losing this game. They're just too powerful. I don't know why they couldn't pull the trigger during the regular season. But Matthew Stafford is finally getting a chance to play quarterback and be his own man instead of getting the hell kicked out of him at Detroit. And we've seen it. You know what you're going to get when you get Matthew Stafford. And I just don't see San Francisco's defense stopping him this time. I don't know if you want to play Matthew Stafford 3 times in 1 year, but if you beat Matthew Stafford 3 times in 1 year, then you deserve to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we see this. We see the Niners are one step away, and they got a high-powered offense going up against them in the Rams. But, PJ, what are your thoughts on the Rams' defense, giving up 24 unanswered points before the game eventually ended with Matt Gay's field goal? They were up 27-3, and then it was 27-27 at the end of this game, and almost potentially going into overtime. What do you think about this Rams defense as they head into a game against the Niners, where the Niners are playing with house money? How confident are you that the Rams defense can bounce back, and what's your take on their defense?
They look terrible against the Tampa Bay, that's for sure. Brady looked like he was just going to just waltz right into this thing again. Getting so many points. That Rams defensive coordinator probably pooping all over the place. He didn't think that this could happen, and it did. And I don't, that's it's good. It's good talk. It's good to hash over these 4 games, but the most important part is what's coming up. I don't think that San Francisco and the Rams want to look at any more tape any more than they have to. They know each other. They know what's got to be done. Maybe they'll throw a few wrinkles in here and there, maybe an end around or a halfback pass or something like that, or a jump pass to the tight end in the end zone or something like that. Something goofy. But these teams know each other. There's no need to fence around anymore.
Yeah, and that's where we have right now is we have 2 teams that will be playing for a third time this season. PJ, you got the Rams in this one. I think the Niners got a good shot to upset it. I would love to see the Rams. Matt Stafford had never won a playoff game. Well, the Lions really don't go to the playoffs, so Matt Stafford had never won a playoff game in his history. He comes to the Rams, and in his first season, he already has that under his belt. He's won a couple of them, and he's trying to go to his first ever title game in the NFL. On the other side of it, we have the Bengals and the Chiefs. The Bengals are red hot, and the Chiefs look like they're themselves again. Like I don't want to say they're themselves again. They had a little lull. The Bills had a lull this year. But, the Chiefs are really playing at a high frequency right now where they look like the team that maybe we were anticipating them to be. Any thought that the Bengals could upend the Chiefs?
No, I don't think so. That game, the Bills and the Chiefs, we saw two of the best young quarterbacks go at it, and neither one of them flinched. Josh Allen, I don't know how you defend that guy. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He calls his own plays. He runs end. He runs it up the middle. I'm not an advocate of quarterbacks running. You heard me say that for 5 years. I don't want to see quarterbacks run. But this guy, he's a tight end in a quarterback's body. I mean, Chiefs are very fortunate to get away here. But, there's a reason why Patrick Mahomes is probably the best young quarterback in the game right now. He knows what he's doing on the field. Andy Reid gives him the flexibility to change a place when he has to. Just before we came on the air, I listened to a little blurb that had Patrick Mahomes calling the play at the line of scrimmage with 13 seconds left. He and Kelsey had come up with a deal, and Kelsey says, listen, if I'm going to break this thing up if I see what I think I'm going to see. And Mahomes says, do it. All of a sudden, we're at the line of scrimmage. Mahomes is barking out signals. He yells, do it, Kels. Do it, Kels. And Kelsey broke the route out in the middle of the field, grabbed a 25-yard pass, field goal game. That's the touchdown game. That's the way Patrick Mahomes can run. That's what he can do with a team. I don't see Cincinnati getting in their way at all. Cincinnati's going to be. This game could be a laugher. I don't want to say that, but I just think that Cincinnati's going to come in with their eyes wide open. They're big stars. I'm playing well. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City and Arrowhead. I don't know how you defend against Patrick Mahomes. This kid is a superstar in the making and a Hall of Fame player right now.
Yeah, that coming from PJ, Papa Joe here. And I have the Niners and the Chiefs. I would love to see Stafford and the Rams do it, but they have not played well in recent history against the Niners. So we'll see what happens there. Whoever wins, it's the NFC West on one side. On the other side, it's the fight of the AFC North versus the AFC West. And we could see both West divisions make it, just like they did a couple of years ago, if we see the Chiefs and whoever makes it on the Niners-Rams side, because they're both in the same division. So, says something about your division. Used to be the worst division in football. Now, arguably the best division in football when Seattle's strong as well. And 50% of that division is in the final game for the NFC with the Rams and the Niners. So, with that being said, Papa Joe, thank you so much for being a part of today's show as always. I look forward to talking with you soon, and thank you for all that you do. Please stay warm, stay well, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, bud. See you later. Bye.
Take care. That coming from Papa Joe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we will be joined by last night's winning coach, Jen Carleton, as her team got it done in the Marywood University whiteout doubleheader with all the fans wearing white t-shirts to show their love for the Marywood Pacers. The place was rocking. I had a ton of fun being the MC/announcer, and we get to talk about the incredible surge back in the second half by the Marywood Pacers as their season continues to heat up. Tune in for that right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside the Cafe Kubal studios. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be, from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, all inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. So happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. And sports meeting life, that's been my statement of what Wake Up Call has been since the beginning, and it means so much to me that the world of sports and my life just continuously has that going back to the well and giving back over and over again. Marywood University has been so good to me since I was a student there. I was asked to come back and MC and announce their whiteout last night, and that opportunity put me in two big-time games, awesome games. It's just seeing the development of the Marywood women's and men's basketball teams. And so we are here in hour number 2 with a doubleheader of our own. Coming off the doubleheader, we have the doubleheader again with both coaches. Jen Carleton first here, as she was first last night with the Marywood women's team starting things off in the White House. So I got to talk with Jen pregame and at halftime, and now we get to have a very special extra bonus Pacer Pride here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, speaking with Jen Carleton coming off of her team taking a 63-62 lead at the end of the third quarter and never looking back. Miss Carleton, how you doing today?
Good morning. How are you? You're not still wearing the white tie, are you?
No, so let me. I am actually, and we lost her. We lost her here for a second. So let's bring Jen back in here. So Jen, I heard you for a second there. You said good morning, and then we lost you.
I said good morning, and I said you're not still wearing the white tie, though, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not wearing the white tie here, and so I actually the white tie is off. I'm taking a little break, and so. You know, I thought I needed to do something for the whiteout. I thought the white tie was a nice touch. Okay.
Yep, you showed up on point. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm definitely feeling it this morning, being there with that. I got to start with it though. You know, the whiteout celebration, giving out white T-shirts to all of the current students, and then throwing out T-shirts during the game as well that I got to be a part of. Just what it meant to you, the fan base, and how they responded by showing up for your game last night.
It was awesome. The place was rocking that second half, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of. And the girls appreciated, and I think it's just really good for our athletic program in general, and for the whole school. When there's so much hype about games and programs, it's always nice to see our fans come out and be involved and get excited. And our track and field team was great, and our men's lacrosse team was awesome, and women's lacrosse was there, and softball. So it was nice just to see everybody supporting everybody, and that's really what you get as a Pacer. So we're very fortunate.
And I've seen the evolution of this. There was not, much of a crowd in some years that I saw, coming through when I started MU courtside. And then, at other times, I can honestly say, you could speak to this better than I can, but I feel like fans are starting to show up more for the women's basketball side of things. And I think it's great to see. And last night, I really felt like I saw a dedication to women's basketball at Marywood, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was nice. It's been really nice. This year we've had some really good fans. 2 games ago, our last home game before last night, we had some great fans as well. And unfortunately, last night was our first doubleheader with the men. But hopefully we have a couple more coming up, and we'll be able to have the same fan base come back for both of them. So it was really nice to fill the gym like it was last night.
So bring me into the game. I found my voice last night, and I kind of just let myself go and let myself take it where I want to take it. And Olivia Chulo, when I had the opportunity to say her name on the speakers, there was something about it that just kind of rolled off the tongue, and it was my favorite thing to say in the game, and I said it about 115 times. So
that's what it seemed like.
What can you say about Olivia Chulo?
Well, I'm glad you like to say it because we get her for another 3.5 years, so that's a really good point too. But yeah, she played great. This is a really great game for her. I thought, Gwyneth Mercy plays a different kind of style. They kind of, shoot the first available shot. They want to take a lot of threes. They want to get to the foul line. So we didn't really talk about specific players. We talked about style and how we can stop their style and how we can, try to make their style work for us. And all of the girls just stepped up and did those things. But Olivia really put herself in good situations on the offensive end. She got herself in gaps. And I thought our team did an amazing job of finding her. So she didn't have to work so hard to find her own shot. They found it for her. Our team had 28 assists on 33 field goals. And I think that's always a good recipe when everybody's distributing. And everybody's knocking down some shots too. But Olivia was the benefactor of that. And I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, Jen, and you just said it, 28 assists on 33 field goals. I think any team in any division, anywhere in the world would appreciate that.
Absolutely. And it's funny, the day before in practice, our point guards We have 2, and they were both like, when you're open, you better shoot the ball. We need to get more assists. And not just them, but we need to be able to shoot those shots when we're open if we're creating for you guys. And that's exactly what we did. And, they really listen to each other. They feed off of each other. They want to, they're into each other's successes, and they want to reward each other. And I think that you saw that last night.
Yeah, and speaking here with Jen Carleton in a special edition of Pacer Pride, it's with us every single Friday exclusively on Wake Up Call to round out the week. But we're doing 2 additional Pacer Prides coming off of the whiteout. Jen, for you to see your team's resiliency, we were talking about it off the air, their toughness, their humbleness, their resiliency, the togetherness. There's so much to talk about when somebody watches this team, and being there and seeing them firsthand in the gym just do the opposite of what I've seen a lot of other teams do in history, which was crumble under pressure, believe the hype, start to fall, start to think it's insurmountable. I mean, what happened in the first half of Gwen and Mercy? Gwen and Mercy came out, they pushed, they got after it, and your team was giving it back to them, but Gwen and Mercy was taking the advantage. And then in the second half of the game and in the third quarter, your team just cracked away at it, chipped away at it. And there's not a lot of teams that have the poise to do it. There's not a lot of teams that have the confidence to do it collectively. There's not a lot of teams that have the patience to chisel away at something. And your team just chip. And then when they chipped away and finally took the lead, they never gave it back. I have to commend you on your coaching and your assistant coaches on your coaching, because there's something to be said about a team that has the patience, the belief, and the wherewithal to stick with it when it seems kind of aggravating living in a society where we want something to happen immediately, and you had to really continue to chisel away at it. It says something about you and the staff, and it says something about these young women that you have a team that was willing to just go there and chip away at something when most people want to hit something one time and hope that it falls immediately.
It's true. I mean, we said it at halftime, and we know that we didn't play our best first half of basketball. There was a lot of silly mistakes that we made, and we weren't poised, and we didn't do the things that we talked about in practice. But we also knew that if we can put ourselves in that hole, we can take ourselves out as well. And I told them we were down at 8 at halftime. I think it was up to, 14 or 15 at one point. But we also told them that there's no 8-point play right now. There's a lot of 2s and there's a lot of 3s, and we can get those if we just play defense, if we just get stops. And then the first possession of the second half, we come out and we execute a drawn-up play perfectly. We get a 3 to start us out, and then we start off the game with this. Start off our defensive end with a stop. So just the little things like that matter. Just making sure that we understand that it's one possession at a time, one pass at a time, one instant at a time, and we're not playing the long game right now. Me and you have talked about this before. Celebrate the small successes. Celebrate the small victories. Well, getting that first shot down in the second half, that's a small victory. Getting the first stop the second half, that's a small victory. We keep focusing on those small victories. A win is going to happen, and that's exactly what happened last night.
Yeah, and Jen, before I let you go, just what you could say about the team, at this point in the season. We talked about it going into the season, that you knew that this was going to be a year of building and trying to, find, like you said, those little positives and build upon those little positives. But you were really looking at this saying to yourself, okay, what we do this year is not going to be what we do down the road. We're going to continue to build and improve and get better. I feel like, based on our conversation and everything that you had kind of anticipated happening this year, I think this team is way ahead of schedule, and I think that you're one of the coaches in the world that gets to look at it. I mean, some coaches are going, wow, we're behind the 8 ball. I thought we'd be here, and we're here instead. You get to be one of the coaches, in my opinion, based on our conversation, that can say, this is where I thought we would be in maturing. This is where I thought we would be in progression. Your team seems to be way ahead of schedule, and if you're out there recruiting those right people to come in, I can imagine that this team is going to have a lot of success. Like you said, Olivia Chulo going to spend the next 3.5 years here. There's something to be said about where this team is comparative to where the anticipation was of where it would be, and I feel like you're definitely in a place where time is on your side at this point.
No, it definitely is, and the girls have just reacted so well to it. And we're not allowed to start till October 15th. So leading up to October 15th, you don't really know exactly what you have and what you're missing and what this and that. And from the very start, our girls gelled together great. It's just that we didn't anticipate, being a 500 team at this point. We didn't anticipate being a 500 team going into winter break. Just because we knew we had a tough schedule, we knew we didn't really know each other. We had a whole year off last year, and we were building off of what we did 2 years ago. So everything was starting to line up, but again, you just didn't feel like this was going to be the year. And things changed along the way. I mean, the mentalities changed. Their attitudes have been amazing. Their look on life and look on our team has been great. We made some additions to our roster, and I think that everything is just falling into place the way it needs to be. And those puzzle pieces are slowly shifting to the right angle to get pushed in to be permanent. And I know that we're on the right track, and I couldn't be more proud of them. But I know we have some work to do coming up in the conference, and the girls are really looking forward to it, and so am I. But it's been an exciting road so far, and I know it's going to be even more exciting the next 8 games or so.
How has this team pleasantly surprised you this season?
I think I always knew that they were great kids who were going to work hard and do the right things. I think the way that they gel, and not just like each other, but they truly do want each other to do well. They grabbed one of the freshman staff and at halftime, and they're like, don't worry about your misses. Keep shooting. We need you to shoot, because the more you shoot, the more that we can open up this and that. And that's something you can't coach, and that's something you can't teach, to support other people's successes. And I think it's not what surprised me the most, but it's what's made the biggest impact on our team. And I think that the whole situation combined is what the difference is in our outlook from October to our outlook now.
That coming from Jen Carleton, Marywood University Pacers women's basketball head coach here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and a bonus edition of Pacer Pride. Jen, we take a look at where the team is currently at, 7-8 overall, 2-3 in the Conference of the Atlantic East. Just as you head forward here, we know that there's a bunch of games to go, and you're going to have the blessing of being home for the next couple of those games. Just what you could say about, where the team is right now, ripe for the taking, that you continue to have your conference games, Immaculata and Newman, both coming up. Another win will get you to 500 in the conference and overall. 2 wins in these next couple games here will get you above 500 in both places, and both of those happen to be at home in front of your crowd. Just what you can say about this point in the season, where you're set up to be, that you get to be at home at a crucial time, building off of success and momentum.
Yeah, it's crucial right now, because if you look at our conference standing, it's wide open. Any given night, anyone could beat anyone. And I think our conference is a little bit shaky because of that. And it's a good shaky, because, you always have to play your A game, or someone might take something from you. So I like to be the team that people kind of, overlook a little bit, and for us to take something from them. But I'm thinking we're starting to become, someone that people are already going to look at, because they see the effort. They see the little things that we're doing. They see, what our record is and how we're getting better every game. So having these 2 games at home, these last 3 games at home have been, yesterday was amazing. The next 2 are going to be great. We just have to build off of that momentum and keep working, because we lost to Immaculata in overtime the first time we played, so I know the girls are ready to go for that. We didn't have Olivia for that first game, so I know that she's ready to go for that. And we're just excited for what's to come, because we know that this conference is wide open, and we can put ourselves in a really good position for playoffs, and to hopefully get a home game out of that as well.
What is fueling you and exciting you the most right now as a head coach? What's invigorating you at this point? I mean, the atmosphere last night was tremendous. The way your team played was tremendous. The comeback was great. At this point in the season, at this point in your coaching career, you woke up this morning, and like you said, my voice may be a little bit hoarse and everything. So you had what is getting you so amped up and revved up today? What's keeping that momentum with you today?
It's just the girls. When you have a team that, like I said, truly cares about each other, they want success, but they're not afraid to skip they're not afraid to go through the process. They don't want to just skip to the results. They want to go through the journey. They want to build the journey. They want to live the journey. So the reward is that much sweeter. And I think when you have a team that's not afraid of the process, every day is a great day. Every day is a day for you to get better and to capitalize on things that you know you can get better at. And, we didn't have a great first half yesterday, and we talked about the mistakes that we were making. And they just came out the second half, and they tried to change those mistakes. And we wrote it on the board before the game. We said, have confidence enough to make a play, have confidence enough to make a shot, but more importantly, have confidence enough to make mistakes. Because if you don't make mistakes, you're not playing at your highest level. And I think that they took that really personally, where they were playing loose, but still playing with the right mindset. And you have to make mistakes sometimes in order to kind of see how the game is being played. And I think that we capitalized off of them. We did the right things. We were able to bounce back. And I think with that mentality, it's really hard not to be invigorated and excited every day when you get to coach a team like that.
2 final notes from Jen Carleton in this bonus edition of Pacer Pride, exclusively found on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we're inside the Cafe Kubal studios. I have the opportunity to have Olivia Chulo on the broadcast for this Friday's video edition of Pacer Pride. What do you want me to know about Olivia before I have that conversation with her this Friday?
I'm not sure. She's a tough girl. She obviously, as a transfer, she kind of is coming into a new school that she really, didn't really know anything about. And I think she was officially official like 4 days before classes start. So the girls were giving her maps, like drawing her maps on their phone on how to get to place to place. So I think that she's still adjusting and getting ready for some things, but she's looking forward to the next however many 3.5 years that she has, and she's looking forward to the rest of the time with the team. And she's getting better every single day, you can tell. So she loves that she's Italian. She loves that she loves food and pasta and all that kind of stuff. She said she can't go a couple days without any pasta. That's just an Italian in her, she said. And she's a local kid, so we're gonna be able to pick her brain about some local talent as well. So there's some tidbits for you.
And the last note here is, I believe that your sister got engaged as well.
Oh, she did. Yes, she did. The day after Christmas.
So
She's very excited and very surprised.
Yeah, can we shout out because I feel like you had something to do with this, or maybe you knew the secret. Can you bring me into to what happened?
I knew it a couple months beforehand. Her fiance Adam is amazing, and just knew exactly what she would want, and she had no idea. My sister is very type A, so if she doesn't know something, it's shocking, and she had no idea what was going on. So it was really nice. And just to kind of fill it in real quick, my dad died when we were little. We already knew that. But what Adam did, he took the ring to my dad's gravestone to ask his permission, and it was just, he took pictures with it there, and I just sent it over for Christine. She was just like, that was the thing that just broke it. She knew that was it when he did something like that. So it was an amazing gesture, and it was something that meant a lot to me and my mom, and of course it meant a lot to my sister as well. But he's a great guy, and I couldn't be more happy to have him as a brother-in-law.
So that's great, because I have tears in my eyes now that you said that. But
your eyes are just sweating. It's not tears, it's just sweat.
Yeah, just sweating from last night still. I'm just I'm emotional from last night. But no, I mean that's so incredible. It sounds like your sister found a great partner, and I'm happy that they found each other, which is a beautiful thing. So good news off the court, good news on the court. Jen Carleton, bonus edition of Pacer Pride, the head coach of your Marywood Pacers women's basketball team. They got a couple games at home here in the Atlantic East, back-to-back here this Saturday, January 29th, and then again on Monday, January 31st. Jen, as always, I appreciate it, and I feel so excited for you. I can't really put into words watching the game last night and just kind of standing there and going, good for Jen. So, it just makes you feel good when good people are doing good things, and just how hard you work at it. So congratulations to you on your successes, and I really do believe that God looks kindly on the ones that do things the right way. So I feel like there's going to be some fun things coming. I think Marywood's going to maybe piss a couple people off, and I'm okay with that. So
I'm okay with that too.
So as always, thank you
so much, Dan. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your support always, and I appreciate you having you last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me there at the Insulaco Arena, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, take care.
Bye.
That coming from Jen Carleton one more time, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Stay here because our bonus edition of Pacer Pride, which happens every Friday in hour number 2 to round out the broadcast of Wake Up Call, Marywood Pacer content called Pacer Pride. That exclusive segment is only here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month inside of our multimedia marketing partnership with Marywood University and the Marywood University Pacers. So, the bonus edition of that started with Jen Carleton, and you had a doubleheader last night on campus. You got a doubleheader this morning on the air. So make sure you're with us after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. After hearing from our great partners in Central and Upstate New York, we will be joined by Enrico Mastroianni on the men's side to talk about his overtime thriller and his thoughts on the season moving forward right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you're listening live worldwide. You're also watching and listening live worldwide on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. youtube.com is a place for you to go all the time to subscribe to our Wake Up Call DT channel with plenty of episodes, over 1,000 episodes for you to go through, including all of our Pacer Pride specials. And of course, you're finding us here today on Facebook in two places, facebook.com/livenowdt and on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. My next guest here is part 2 of the doubleheader. There was a doubleheader last night that had me up past midnight, and there's a doubleheader this morning that's gotten me up here before noon. So within the last 12 hours, 2 doubleheaders, one on the court and now one on the air, as we have Enrico Mastroianni following Jen Carleton here where sports meets life in a bonus edition of Pacer Pride, your exclusive coverage of the Marywood Pacers inside of our multimedia marketing partnership. Enrico here with me, coming off of his team's overtime loss to the Gwynedd Mercy Griffins in the second half of the doubleheader at the Insulaco Arena. Let's bring in Mr. Mastroianni. Enrico, how are we doing today?
Doing okay, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Listen, you wear your heart on your sleeve. I know you do, and so do I. So I know yesterday was a tough one. What was your message to the guys after a last-second 3 forced the overtime when you guys were up by 3? A last-second launch sends the game into overtime, and then ultimately you guys lose in the extra period. What was the message to the guys after the game?
After the game, that we have a lot to be proud of, that we're a very resilient bunch, and, to even, I think you alluded to this last night, to even come back in the beginning of the game after being down like 12 or 14 to nothing to start the game, the way that they executed and chipped away and stayed together and fought through things, I told them we're a really good team. We're a really good team, but to be a great team, you got to figure out how to win those close ones. And we've been in so many close games now, so many overtimes, so many games decided by 3 points or less. It's like, when you grow through things and you gain experience, you learn how to win those close ones. And we've done it sometimes, but not all the time. And that's the consistency is where we need to get to.
I hear other coaches have said this in the past, and I'd love to get your take on it. How do you get your team to be consistently good and not occasionally great? What do you have to do from here to make sure that consistency is key moving forward? How does this team stay good consistently instead of occasionally being great?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with maturity and experience. I mean, I don't think there's any particular drill or speech that you could give. The guys just have to experience things, and we in practices we try to put them in situations that they would face in a game. We compete in everything we do. The clock is always on. The score is always up. We're always competing in every drill. Those are things that you can do. I think it's really more, it comes down to just, the level of experience of your team, that, have they been put in those situations before, and, what you can learn from those moments. And, film always tells the truth. We sit down, we watch film with the guys. We try to examine and analyze moments in games where the tide may have shifted one way or the other. But I think in the end, you can't put a price tag on experience. That's really all it comes down to. Most of the teams in our league right now, and we tell our guys this going into every game, we look at the scouting report, most teams in our league start 5 seniors or 3 graduate students and 2 seniors, or, maybe they have 1 or 2 sophomores in the mix, but they're mostly all veteran teams. And to be honest, I mean, we only start 2 seniors and the rest are all freshmen, really. I mean, we played 1 game last year. But, that 1 game does not, elevate you to a sophomore, in my opinion. So, this is a growing and learning experience for our guys. And, I commend them for handling it the way that they are, facing the challenges head on. We've been through a lot with regard to COVID and injuries. Like I said, they're a resilient bunch. We just have to get more experience to overcome these odds sometimes.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and you were speaking about that here, Enrico Mastroianni, Marywood Pacers men's basketball head coach on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal studios, making mention of the fact that this is a team that doesn't have the experience yet. You got young guys, and in the backcourt, you have a lot of youth at the guard position, and just to speak to that, I mean, the fact that you have a bunch of young, freshmen and sophomores in your backcourt trying to lead this team. And just, the fact that I know we live in a society that's less and less patient, but in any world, 99.9% of the time, you need to get the experience before the team starts to trend upward in a consistent fashion. Just what you can say about your backcourt and the fact that it is so youthful. You got Busada and Holman in the front court, and in the backcourt, you got a lot of young guys that are out there, the Brandon Reeds, the Corey Perkinses, the Trevor Seitz and whatnot. You have a very youthful backcourt at this point.
Yeah, I mean, youthful but talented. I think that's the best thing I could say. They're extremely talented, and their IQ is pretty high, honestly. Like, we recruit with intention to bring in smarter players, winning players, guys that can make plays in certain moments. And, it was evidenced by our game-winning 3 on the road at Immaculata back on Monday. And that's the other thing I'll say, too, is, like, the schedule hasn't really done us any favors because we had to postpone a couple games. We kind of had to play, 4 games in 7 days, and it's a lot. It's taxing on a player. Now we have another game coming up on Saturday and another reschedule on Monday. So it's like, if you look at that stretch over 10 days, you're looking at 6 games in 10 days. It's a lot to manage. And so, again, going back to youth and inexperience, there's also a body development piece to that, right? And so a lot of our guards, our young guards are, they understand the weight room. They understand that they need a commitment to that, but they just haven't had the time to really commit and develop in there. And I think that's another piece of this that we forget sometimes. Their bodies are not as fully developed as some of the players that they have to guard or that they have to play against. So, they're a talented bunch. They're a very intelligent bunch. But, with that inexperience comes, some flaws. And so we're managing it the best we can. They're managing it the best they can. The main thing right now for everybody is to not get discouraged. I mean, my gosh, Gwynedd Mercy every year is a number 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs in our conference. They've been to the NCAA tournament probably 6 times in the last 10 years. And, by all means, we should have won that game in regulation. And, to go to overtime and lose by 3, we missed an opportunity to foul at the end that could have maybe changed our fate. But, I think we're headed in the right direction. I think there's a lot to be encouraged about. And we wouldn't be here if not for those talented guards that are young and hungry and, sometimes don't know any better, and that sometimes can be a valuable tool as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, you have these young guards that have done some good things. You've had, Brandon Reed had some good plays in there. Corey Perkins had some shots that he knocked down, and Trevor Seitz has obviously had a nice return coming off of injury early on in the season. So there's a lot to be said about where they are. What is it? I mean, despite the fact that experience is something that you can only gain here as they move forward, knowing that they need the experience, knowing that, getting out there more will help them and nothing can simulate, the gameplay at this level and whatnot. But the weight room side of it and building up the body, you had alluded to that. Just what you can say about, that side of it too, and kind of the regimen and what you're excited about that, in between this season and what's to come in the future, that you can really work on making sure that, body-wise and frame-wise, that this team is elevating itself and growing, because these freshmen and sophomores will hopefully continue to get into the weight room and develop their body as they go.
Yeah, I think, we don't want to look ahead to the off season right now, but, at the end of every season, we do individual evaluations. And, I poll my staff and I have them, give me feedback on every player, and we put together basically a summary sheet, an evaluation that we give to the player, and we tell them, their strengths and weaknesses and what we expect from them next year and what we're looking forward to with their off-season development. So I think that'll be a major topic of discussion with those guys when we get to that point. I think naturally the progression, and there's a reason why senior-laden teams often go far in the NCAA tournament, right? Because they're just naturally, every year you're getting bigger and stronger. You're growing more as an individual. You're understanding more of the demands that are going to be put on you every year. And so you're more readily aware of that, which means you're eager to prepare for it, right? So coming in, as a freshman, or in this case, some of the guys academically sophomores, not having had that full length season, you don't understand the grind yet. You don't understand how it's going to tax on your body. And so coming out of this season, I think that awareness will be there, and that commitment will be even stronger.
Yeah, and obviously there's so much of this season left and so many great things that are on the horizon for this team potentially as you step forward. Just looking at the growth and to me, there's an excitement of it, right? You're playing the short game and the long game. You're playing the short game in the sense of this season. You're playing the long game and what it could be. And the point I'm really trying to get at is, when we talk about a youthful backcourt, the Brandon Reeds and the Trevor Seitzes and the Corey Perkins and whatnot, I'm excited about what they're going to be able to do in the future. When I see the ability of your team to shoot the three ball, and it goes beyond those gentlemen, when I see what they can do, the young guys on this team, their ability to shoot all over the floor, their consistency at times of doing that, their ability to see certain things and get and attack the rim and whatnot. There's a fearlessness in these guys. They could be smaller. They could be a third of the size of somebody they were going up against last night in Gwen and Mercy. I saw Brandon Reed and the way that he attacked the rim and got after it. And if he got pushed, he went right back the next play. I mean, the resiliency, the fight, the toughness, the grit, the shooting ability, the God-given talent, and the eye for the ball. There's a lot of things that I'm excited about that this team can only get better at, and that's what I'm really looking forward to is, you're coming off of a loss from last night, but dang it, if your team hasn't shown me, that have watched basketball my whole life, that there are players on this team that have plenty of future coming up at Marywood University that have already shown me things that are hard to teach, which is a desire to get after it. When you get pushed, that you push back, that you don't bow down, you don't give up, you don't become a doormat, you continue to fight and try to knock that door down. So I think there's a lot to be said about the excitement of the shooting ability of this team, as well as their attack mentality and how forceful they can be inside, and how really none of your guys think that they don't deserve to be there. And with a very physical game last night, your Brandon Reeds and your Trevor Seitzes, they took their punches and they hit right back. And that says a lot about what's to come for Marywood basketball, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you, and you were right to say, and it goes a lot deeper than that. I think that's the one thing that goes unnoticed sometimes, because as you get closer to, playoffs and stuff, the bench gets a little shorter, right? Everybody naturally, you have certain guys that you expect to get certain things from, and so they play extended minutes. You don't go as deep into the bench, right? But our bench is so deep right now, and our roster, you mentioned the talent at the guard position. I mean, you didn't mention Brendan Franco, who is, a starter for us, freshman from High Point, New Jersey. Mason Mendigral, who has started many games for us and came off the bench and gave us incredible minutes defensively last night. Yeah. Cole Johnson gave us great minutes last night and has in several games this year, who was also, academically a sophomore, but a freshman eligibility. There's other guys that didn't see the floor last night, like Declan McCarthy and Rob Van Brunt, and there's so many guys right now that we know in any moment we could sub into that game and they would help us win that game. And I think it goes to what you were saying, Dan, about like the development, right? But it also goes to, I want to reemphasize and credit my staff, like the recruitment. I mean, the way that we target guys and their skill set and what we're looking for, the ability to score, the ability to shoot, the IQ to understand how to get the best shot and, get other guys involved in the game. And then not only that, but carry it over and actually play defense. And you mentioned Brandon Reed. I got to tell you, smallest guy on the floor, he's probably the toughest guy on the floor. And, he attacks the rim with a ferocious mentality. But he also does that when a guy's going in for a clean layup and he doesn't want him to have one, and he did that twice last night. Took guys out, pretty hard, not illegally, but, just let them know you're not getting an easy layup in here. And for a 5'8" kid who is probably 120 pounds soaking wet to go after a 6'4", 200-pound forward, that says a lot about his toughness and his mentality.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at and I'm so excited about. And Brendan Franco is a guy that, I definitely had on my mind to mention here. 4 of 6 from three-point last night, was automatic, hit back-to-back ones late in the game that were needed. I want to go to another piece of this. Despite the three-point loss in overtime here, with a very special Pacer Pride bonus edition on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with Enrico Mastroianni, the Marywood men's basketball head coach. Rebounding-wise last night, Jason Holman had a double-double overall, 26 points, 10 rebounds. But I'm looking at the rebounding list right now, and I love this list because I am a person that is very, as people know that, watch the show and listen to the show and my coverage and whatnot, I cover the ACC heavily. I cover college basketball. I go to the D1 Final Four. I've been in numerous NCAA tournaments and March Madness and whatnot. I see a lot of teams at the D1 level, and I can tell you that here, looking at this Marywood team in Division III, the Atlantic East, they did something last night that I typically do not see a lot of teams do. Now, maybe a Gonzaga will do it, but I don't see this a lot, and that's looking at the rebounding world. Jason Holman, 10. Busada, 10. Busada, 5. Sites, 5. Brendan Franco, 6. Corey Perkins, 6. Brandon Reed, 3. Mason Mendegral, 2. Cole Johnson, 3 in this game. Multiple rebounds for every single player, including your guards getting out there and seeing, your young players, your Perkins and your Franco and your Sites getting after it in the rebounding world. This wasn't just Busada and Holman. There's a lot of teams that I cover in D1 where they got one main guy and then that second guy and maybe a distant third guy. Your entire team spreads out when it comes to getting after the glass. And I got to give you credit for that, despite the loss, that when I'm looking at the rebounding world, which I think is a very important statistic, and I definitely look at it and key in on it a lot with teams that I've covered my whole life, your team got after the glass, and they didn't put it on any one person to take care of it. They did it as a team effort, and I think that that's a huge piece of it, especially your guards getting heavily involved with, like you said, protecting the rim, and then beyond that, getting after the rebounds as well.
Well, I got to tell you, Dan, that was something that we were not really good at early on in the season. And looking at our overall season stats, we're still behind in terms of opponent rebounds. But it has been an emphasis for us lately. And every game before the game, we put up critical stats that we think are going to impact the game, and we tell them what we need them to get and where they need to be to win the game. And it's really crazy how on days that we hit those numbers, we win the game. It's like it's non-negotiable, right? If there's certain days that you miss on certain spots, you can't win a game. And yesterday we hit our rebounding number overall, but not on the offensive glass. We were even on the offensive glass, and that makes all the difference. I mean, if you look at it, they had one more possession, one more field goal opportunity than we did, and we lost by one possession, 3-point game. So it really does make an impact, and we've made an emphasis on it, like I said, over several weeks now, and the guys have really committed to it. And I think really what happened, once Adam got back fully healthy, he was really relentless on the glass. He's had some games where he's had 3 or 4 double-doubles in a row. Last night he didn't have as much success, but like you said, other guys picked it up and helped him out, which was great. And we need a collective team rebounding effort, and I'm happy that they're committed to that now.
You talked about it a little bit earlier before I let you go. You've had 4 in the 17 games that you played this season. You have had 4 overtime games decided by 1 point, 6 points, 2 points, and 3 points. You're, like you said, you've been right there in a lot of games, and in not just the overtime games, but games in general this season, that you battled to be within that game. The Cabrini game recently on January 22nd, 81-78, before you won by that exact score against Immaculata. So just what you can say about the closeness of these overtime games, playing in an extra period, and some of these regulation games, just how close your team is to being above 500. They're right there, a couple possessions away from really flipping the record from 7-10 to 10-7.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, some of those early season losses. I mean, again, you're going through some things. You're trying to mature a little bit. We had injury bug kind of hit us right away in the first couple games of the year. We lost Trevor in the first game for about 7 or 8 games. Adam was down after the second game for about 8 games. It's hard to win when you have 2 starters out like that. And, still the guys battled, and we had a couple big wins in that time. And during that stretch, we had, the sweep of the local schools, the Wilkes, Keystone Kings, wins back to back to back. And, we're overcoming. Like I said, we're learning how to overcome. And I think those moments, those close games, whether wins or losses, later on in the season when it really matters most, you hope that those moments and that experience will, elevate your play and get guys on a level that they maybe didn't know that they could get to, but now because they had some experience, it's easier for them to achieve.
Yeah, and you guys are in a position right now, 2-3 in the Atlantic East, with plenty coming up here inside of your conference. Plenty of games left on the schedule and plenty of opportunity to shake up the standings. So, Enrico, final couple things here. Number one, with all of the teams looking for a head coach, including my Jacksonville Jaguars, your Cleveland Browns are not looking for a head coach. My question to you is, do they have the right head coach, number one? And number two, keep Baker Mayfield or let him go?
I think consistency is key. I think you've got to keep the staff, keep the quarterback for one more year, give him some weapons. That was one of the biggest issues, I think, was at the wide receiver position this year. Jarvis Landry got hurt in the first game, never really was the same again. We know about the Odell debacle that was. I just don't think he really wanted to be in Cleveland. They weren't really in sync. The other guys are okay, but they're not studs. You need some stud wideouts. You need to get they're number 13, I think, in the draft, to pick a Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, maybe Chris Olave, something like that. And I think they'll be pretty good once they get some weapons in there.
And then my last note here, Corey Perkins in his block last night underneath, your young guard, Corey Perkins, blocked the ball, and then I saw it, and I don't know if he knows I saw it, and I don't know if you saw it, but he did a little Dikembe Mutombo finger wave. So I got to ask you, now that you know, I don't know if you knew or you didn't know, but what do you think about Corey Perkins's "not in my house"? He did that little Dikembe Mutombo. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that, and I'm glad that nobody else but you did, because I had to correct a few other guys that were doing it on the court last night, and taunting has been kind of a point of emphasis, and every team does it to us, so I guess our guys feel like they should have the right to do it too. But Dan, that's not how I roll. I'm not about showing out. It's about playing. Let your play speak for itself. But when a little guy gets a block, we got to let him do a little bit of something. So I'm happy for Corey that he got that.
Hey, listen, all I say is call fouls both ways, and I don't have anything wrong with Corey saying "not in my house," so you can tell him that I said it's okay. Don't reprimand him today because of me.
I won't. Don't worry. We'll let it slide.
So that coming from Enrico Mastroianni, Pacer Pride here, an exclusive bonus coverage of it, and here on site on location. Enrico, last thing here, the fans came out, they were awesome. I've never seen fans at women's basketball games like I've seen here in the present, as opposed to my years. I've been covering men's and women's basketball at Marywood since 2003 when I started MU courtside. So looking at this now, I love what the women are getting. I love what you guys are getting. The student section for the men's game was insane. The whiteout was incredible. Just what you want to say to the fans about the doubleheader They got to see the women come back and win. They got to see your team battle back and go into overtime. You started the game down 14-0, then went on an 18-2 run immediately to take an 18-16 lead. The second half was back and forth. The game was incredible. I was having a fantastic time emceeing and announcing this game. Just what you want to say to the fans coming out for the doubleheader whiteout, and just what it means to you to see them through everything you guys have been through with COVID and all the stuff going on the last couple of years, and not having fans in the stands, not being able to play games, just what last night meant to you as a coach and as a piece of the university.
Yeah, I mean, it's critical to our success that we have support, obviously, you know, and the way that the crowd came out last night for both games, as you mentioned, you know, they started to, you know, pile in. It's tough. That 6 o'clock game is tough for the women because, you know, there's night classes and a lot of people are stuck there until they can get out and get to the, you know, the portion of our game that they can make. But, you know, still in spite of that, we had a great crowd for them. And then, like you said, it was electric during our game. The whiteout was awesome to see from across the bench. The student section was electric. They were fun. They were loud. They helped us in moments when we really needed them to. Just feeding off of that energy. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to feel. I did think that last night was our last weeknight game at home, and we only had Saturday home games left, but I was mistaken. We just rescheduled the game for this coming Monday at home. The Marymount game that we had missed on Saturday, January 8th, is rescheduled. We're going to play it at 4 o'clock on Monday, which is unusual for us, but it'll be a fun environment. Hopefully people can come out in between classes, and then our women play at 6 as well. So still a doubleheader, but a 4 and 6 instead of a 6 and 8. And this time we play first. So that'll be interesting, intriguing to see how that goes for us. And looking forward to getting another home game during the week and get our fans out there.
Absolutely. That coming from Enrico Mastroianni. Enrico, as always, thank you for all you do. And one more time, I said it last night to everybody, and I'll say it again, a big shout out to Jamie Mastroianni on her 29th birthday, I think it was yesterday.
Sure. Yep. We'll go with that.
So
yeah, that's the tough part of the season, Dan, is every year we look at the schedule and see whether or not, you know, her birthday's going to fall on a game day, and unfortunately yesterday it did, and you know, she's understanding, thank goodness, but you know, it's tonight will be our celebration. We'll get together tonight and do something, and I know the kids are looking forward to singing happy birthday and blowing out those candles and all that, so.
Well, awesome. Well, I look forward to talking with you very soon and seeing you soon for some cold pizza as well.
Sounds good, buddy. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Take care, bye.
See you. That coming from Enrico Mastroianni, once again, the men's basketball head coach at Marywood University. You can get your Marywood University Pacers content every single month, every week. On Fridays, we do our Pacer Pride exclusive segments here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you got bonus this week as I emceed and announced the doubleheader last night at the Insulaco Arena on-site on location in Scranton, PA at Marywood. Then you got to hear from Jen Carleton and Enrico Mastroianni this morning. Tomorrow we will have a video special in our normal slot of Pacer Pride, which is every Friday between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And Olivia Chulo will be joining me for that from the Marywood women's basketball team, so make sure you come back tomorrow to listen and watch that special. And thank you to Marywood University for all that they do. WakeUpCallDT.com has the Marywood tab where we're constantly updating, so you can get our archive of audio and video specials of Pacer Pride. And, of course, you can go to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT right now to get all of our Marywood University videos. And, of course, you can get more information at marywoodpacers.com, including seeing the Wake Up Call logo of the sun coming out of the coffee cup at marywoodpacers.com on the bottom of the page. So, with that being said, thanks to Enrico and Jen, we'll take a step aside to wrap up today's show right after this.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every single time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Sunday, as they are closed on Mondays, and you can enjoy all of their homemade breads, desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, as well as brick oven pizzas, salads, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, there is nothing like the Millhouse Market, and it is there for you in our community of Central and Upstate New York. Head out there, download the app, and make sure you do that for the Millhouse Market on the Google Play or Apple App Store. Everything at your fingertips, every piece of the menu, all of the ingredients as to what's in each and every single thing. So you can really look at the menu and get a feel for all of it that's there for you, and you can order your food on the app and have contactless pay, tip on the app, then go to the drive-thru, grab your food, and go. You can also go inside to the general store with local products from local companies. And, of course, their bistro menu changes for their indoor dining every single week, so you can come back and try something new. 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. I cannot begin to tell you how your taste buds will thank you for going there. So wherever you are, however far away you are, if you're traveling on through or if you live close by, 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York is worth the drive every single time. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, I want to thank you for watching and listening every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/livenowdt. I also appreciate you listening worldwide on our live internet streaming radio on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com, where the MixLR feed is embedded. Of course, once the shows go live, you can check out the archive, Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Podbean. You can find me there by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And a special thanks to all of our Central and Upstate New York partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, as well as Progressive Dental, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, where you can order from Ma and Pa's anywhere in the United States, including the great state of Pennsylvania. You go to maandpaspopcorn.com and order today. Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Lemoyne Dolphins, Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, Mother's Cupboard, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and PB&J's Lunchbox, where we now are proudly putting my nachos, the DT's CNY nachos, the way I make my nachos at home, that has now come to you at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. You can have nachos my way. Listen, I don't think anybody makes good nachos in Central and Upstate New York. I haven't had good nachos, so I figured, why not put my money where my mouth is and take the nachos I make at home and say, hey, these are the ingredients, this is what I use, this is what I want to give to the community. So, DTCNY nachos available to you exclusively at PB&J's Lunchbox. 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. You can go there Monday through Saturday to dine in. You can also use all of your DoorDash, Grubhub, and other apps to have it delivered to your doorstep from PB&J's Lunchbox, always supporting local. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is your proud multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Dolphin time every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with the AD and DT episodes airing every first and third Wednesday with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, and every second and fourth Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Dolphin Dive episodes air with student athletes, coaches, and staff members of Lemoyne, including those of the future of Lemoyne and the past of Lemoyne. So a lot of great stuff coming up from your Lemoyne College Dolphins and our multimedia marketing partnership exclusive between Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and Lemoyne College, bringing you content you won't find anywhere else with coverage of Lemoyne that is truly special, unique, and there for you every single month, including every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for Dolphin Time. You can find all these at youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, on the Lemoyne tab of wakeupcalldt.com, and you can get more information by going to LemoyneDolphins.com. And as you know from hearing from Enrico Mastroianni and Jen Carleton today, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media are also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. It's Pacer Pride every single month for my alma mater, and you can check out the Pacers in exclusive episodes of Pacer Pride airing every Friday between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time to round out our week of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can see all these episodes by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for the video episodes, and of course you can go to our Podbean as well as Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn and other channels to get our audio specials like the ones from today with Jen Carleton and Enrico Mastroianni that will be available instantaneously on MixLR right after this show. So, Pacer Pride happening on Fridays in hour number 2 between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. All those episodes on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. You can get everything at the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com. And, of course, for more information on the Pacers, you can go to marywoodpacers.com. With that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Find us on Facebook at wakeupcalldt. Twitter at CallDT, Instagram at wakeupcall_DT, a bunch of awesome Marywood University-centric stuff from my time emceeing and announcing the whiteout game, so you can go and see videos and pictures on there right now on all of our feeds on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and all the good stuff. And, of course, from the Cafe Kubal Studios, I want to thank Papa Joe, Jen Carleton, and Enrico Mastroianni, and I hope that you have a fantastic day. God bless, no stress, do your best. Be well, everybody. Stay safe and stay warm.